What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Jake here with Outdoor Rushes. Today we're going to be going over our 5 favorite small stream flies that we use almost every trip that we go out on. These flies have been a staple in our fly boxes, and honestly, if it came down to it, these would be the only 5 flies that we would carry on a regular basis. So let's get started right in on that. So our number 1 fly is a dark nymph, size 16 to 20. It really doesn't matter the pattern. Unfortunately, this one, I don't know if it's going to focus on it or if you guys can see it because it's so small. This one has been tore up by quite a few fish. It started out as a pheasant hair or a pheasant tail, but hare's ears work really well. Pheasant tails, prince nymphs, zebra midges. There's so many out there to name that it's really hard, but any of them in that, that size 16 to 20 range will really work out here on these small streams in Arizona. And the pattern isn't really that, I mean, we've fished head to head with patterns to see, and honestly the pattern really doesn't make that much of a difference as long as it's a darkly colored fly. Even sometimes we'll use like a dark green caddis. Those work really good. Scuds work really good. It's just a nymph pattern. Honestly, it's a generic nymph pattern is all you really need. There's no matching or anything like that. Just a small generic nymph pattern out here. Sticking with the underwater flies, we'll get into dries here in a second. Next we have the semi-seal leech in a size 14. This is our favorite pattern for any fish that swims in Arizona. I mean, we've caught everything on these, from bass to bluegill to carp to tilapia to brown trout, rainbow trout, brook trout, Apache trout, tiger trout. Almost anything that swims in Arizona will eat this fly. It's just a great mimic pattern of a standard leech in the water, or a little bit bigger of a nymph pattern. Size 14 is the ticket on these in every color. We fish a lot in this dark olive, but honestly, blacks, reds, whites, like a crystal minnow, any color will really work with this. Black red, black blood, olive, crawdad, I mean any color, just as long as it's a size 14 semi-seal leech. Next we're going to go with our smallest dry fly pattern that we throw, and that's going to be an elk hair caddis. The elk hair caddis is a staple in fly fishing. This honestly imitates so many different bugs that come off the water. It's hard to beat. I like fishing them with the black body. Olive body works well, works good as well. You can dye a foam in here. I use that a lot, where there's a foam under the wing to give it a little bit more floating ability. But the caddis is hands down a killer fly on any small stream across the country. This is a size 16. I'll go all the way up to a 14, even though when I do that I usually switch over to like a stimulator pattern, which we're going to talk about next. But I really like size 16 to 20. I don't really go too much smaller than that. These fish out here, especially in these small streams, are really aggressive, so they'll hit bigger flies. So that 16 to 20 is where I try to keep that fly at, and it works. I mean, it'll work on any small stream or any lake for that matter that has trout in it out here in Arizona. Great pattern. So next we have the big stimulator pattern. This one's been fished a lot. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a new one because we fish them so often, but this is a great pattern for aggressive fish. It gets fish attention. You usually catch the bigger fish in the pool fishing a big pattern like this, a big dry fly pattern like this, come up and hit it, although the smaller fish will hit it as well. But this is just an awesome little pattern out there on the water to mimic almost anything. Grasshoppers, big flies, big stone flies, caddis flies that are coming off. It's just a pattern that works year round out here on these small streams, and will catch you a lot of fish and have a lot of really explosive blow-ups on it. Some of the biggest blow-ups we've had this year on small streams have come on this fly. It is an absolute phenomenal fly out there, just as a searching pattern, just to find out if there's fish in this hole, what they're eating on, anything like that. Just tie this on as your strike indicator for your nymph, for your semi-seal leech, anything like that, and the fish will blow up on that fly. Lastly, we have the big hopper, or Chernobyl pattern. I think this is a Chernobyl fly, double Chernobyl or big hopper or whatever you want to call it. Out here in Arizona, we have a very long period where the grasshoppers are next to streams and the fish are really keying in on those. So up north, these for trout work really well. Again, this is a great strike indicator, fishing a nymph or a streamer underneath it. Down here in the valley, chasing bluegill and carp and bass, and I mean, almost every fish that swims eats grasshoppers unless they're too small, and even those ones will try to attack it. But yeah, we've caught so many fish and so many different species of fish on this fly that it's something that you really need to have in your box at all times. My biggest carp to date came on a grasshopper fly, massive carp, big trout. I mean, everything keys up on grasshoppers when they're eating. It's a great source of protein. I mean, I think America is the only country that really doesn't eat grasshoppers on a regular basis as humans because they're such a great source of protein. A lot of other countries consume them, and so do big fish out here in Arizona. So we get that question a lot. What are the, what flies are you using? What can I take with me? At the end of the day, these are the 5 flies that if I could only fish, with these flies for the rest of my fly fishing career, I guarantee I'd catch fish almost every trip. These are just fish catching flies. They're attractant style flies, so that means they don't mimic the exact coloration of this nymph coming off, or this dry fly, or this emerger, or whatever. And honestly, you don't have to do that 100% of the time. There are some streams and rivers and lakes out there that get so heavily fished that it's really hard, and you have to mimic what they're eating exactly. But I've found that size is more important than coloration. If you're throwing a fly and everything on the water is a size 14 or a size 16, and you're trying to throw a 12, it's probably not going to get bit. But if you match the size perfectly to the other flies on the water, you have a much greater chance of getting bit, even if you're fishing the wrong pattern. So I hope that helps with you guys. We'll leave a link down below where you can purchase these flies at, or tying instructions on them. If you want to see any tying videos on these specific flies, drop it in the comments. Let us know. I'll tie some up and we'll put it on video for you. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. I hope this helps you out there on the water next time when you're trying to search for the right pattern. I hope you guys are having a great week. I think this is going to be video number 9 of the 30-day challenge, so we got a few left. I'll probably be getting back out on the water. I'm hoping to take Kimberly out tonight, maybe head out tomorrow, do some fishing. But thank you guys very much for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on post notifications, like this video, share it with your friends. Leave us a comment down there. What's your favorite fly for Arizona small stream fishing, or for Arizona fishing, period? Just let us know. We'll give it a try. Thank you again, guys, for watching. You guys have a great day.